A Japanese writer, Haruki Murakami, said, "Once the storm is over, you won't remember how you made it through, how you managed to survive. You won't even be sure whether the storm is really over. But one thing is certain, when you come out of the storm, you won't be the same person who walked in." That's what the storm is all about. Hello and thanks for joining us on another episode of The Eagle. My name is Aisha Muhammad.
Imagine a society where everything works. Durable road networks, stable electricity supply, portable water, well-equipped and functional healthcare facilities, quality education for all, affordable housing schemes, social security benefits, job creation, and a lot more that makes life comfortable to live. That is an ideal society. We can only achieve these if we all play our part. Say no to corruption to enjoy these benefits. Kill corruption to save Nigeria. This message is from the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC.
The International Police Interpol has extended its Globalized Information 247 to the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC. The information platform, codenamed IP247, was extended to the EFCC in a brief ceremony attended by the acting executive chairman Ibrahim Mustafa Magu, key officers of Interpol, and some management staff of the EFCC. Amina Kawa tells us more.
The IP247 is the global police communication system that connects law enforcement agencies in all the 194 member countries. It enables users to share sensitive and urgent police information with their counterparts around the globe, 24 hours a day and 365 days a year. With the extension of IP247 to the EFCC, the Commission now has direct, quick access to 18 databases through which information about criminal activities across the world can be accessed. Commissioner of Police, Interpol, and Head, National Central Bureau, NCB, GB Umar, while congratulating the EFCC and the acting executive chairman, Ibrahim Magu, on the new milestone achieved by the Commission, said the extension of the platform was made possible by the chairman's passion and determination in the fight against financial crimes in Nigeria. He described the platform as a great breakthrough in criminal investigation. Omar stressed that with the access to the Interpol platform, the EFCC now can manage the 18 database itself without going through the Interpol Secretariat in Lyon, France.
This journey of I247, the extension, would not have come to fruition without the able contribution and zeal and determination of the chairman of the EFCC. And in this regard, I want to say a big thank you for giving us the enabling environment to extend this needful facility or technology. Thank you to EFCC, and we wish you a proper management of the I247.
In his response, Magu thanked the Interpol for extending IP247 to the EFCC and its role in facilitating arrest and investigation of many high-profile corrupt individuals. The anti-graft czar expressed delight that the platform will energize every enforcement initiative of the EFCC, stressing that enforcement is the greatest deterrent to corruption.
We thank the Interpol for taking us into consideration, and we want to beg for more, and that we need to synergize, we need to work together, we need to cooperate together, because we still have a lot of things outside. And I realize that things get done when you are working with the Interpol, because the Interpol is in about 194 countries. So when you put them on the red notice, you reach them out. And I hope we will also involve the Interpol in areas of asset tracing and recoveries, at least in getting necessarily intelligence and information for us to pursue our case.
It will be recalled that the EFCC signed a Memorandum of Understanding MOU with the Interpol on November 29, 2018, as part of collaboration aimed at tackling the menace of corruption in Nigeria. Amina Kawa, reporting for the Eagle.
Well, congratulations to the EFCC, and it is our hope that everyone stays away from corruption, as clearly seen and heard, no hiding place for corrupt individuals. The acting chairman of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, Ibrahim Mustafa Magu, has been inducted into the President Muhammadu Buhari Integrity Hall of Fame in recognition of his record of integrity, transparency, and honesty in his duties. The induction was done by Arewa House Center for Documentation and Research, Ahmadu Bello University, at the corporate headquarters of the EFCC, Abuja. Again, Amina Kawa has the details.
Director, Center for Documentation and Research, Arewa House, Shuaibu Shehu Aliyu, while justifying the choice of Magu for the honor, said that the EFCC boss has demonstrated courage, consistency, and integrity in the discharge of his duties. He also stressed that many corrupt Nigerians that were considered untouchable in the past had been brought to book. Aliyu explained that Arewa House is all about honesty, integrity, transparency, and reputation, which the late Sardauna of Sokoto, Alhaji Ahmadu Bello, exemplified. He decried the havocs which corrupt practices have been causing the nation.
Really supportive at what level. Arewa is ready to partner with the EFCC on the issue of fighting corruption. Because one of the important aspects we observed is the issue of attitudinal change in this country. We really need to engage in rigorous change of attitude of this, because we are using any important matter into the issue of ethnicity or religion. You can convince somebody there's upon billions of naira that meant for developmental projects, it can reduce into tribalism or ethnicity. This is a very, very serious matter, which actually we need to see how EFCC will come up. We are ready as areas to partner with EFCC in mounting a strong mobilization of our communities to understand who are their real enemies.
In his response, Magu appreciated the Arewa House for the honor bestowed on him, saying that he felt humbled to be linked with the Integrity Hall of Fame of President Muhammadu Buhari. The EFCC boss said it is quite humbling to be found worthy of an induction into the Integrity Hall of Fame of the great president, stressing that President Muhammadu Buhari, no doubt, has established great reputation globally as an ardent and committed anti-corruption fighter. This, he said, can be seen in his appointment as first ever African Union anti-corruption fighter, which bears great credence to his commitment to the fight against corruption. And it's an honor to be inducted into such integrity realm by the Arewa House. While dedicating the award to officers and men of the commission, Magu promised that the EFCC will not relent in the pursuit of its core values.
As widely known to every Nigerian, our approach at the EFCC is pragmatic, and there are ample results to show for this. Integrity is a word, but when positive actions are taken in line with it, it becomes a character. Over the years, with the help of Almighty Allah, we have been able to show commitment to the practice of integrity in cases we have handled, and the overwhelming successes that have been made so far. Let me express my gratitude to the Arewa House for recognizing the modest contributions we are making to drive the policies and programs of the government, especially in the areas of transparency and zero tolerance for corruption. I want to thank you for coming, for having time to come, and for giving us this honor. And I want to dedicate it to all the men and officers in the EFCC, because nobody can claim, nobody can take ownership of whatever success we have recorded.
He charged Nigerians to show more commitment to the anti-corruption fight, stressing that the fight is everybody's fight. In his remarks, Secretary to the Commission, Ola Olukoyede, called on civil societies and other institutions to emulate the Ariwa House by joining and supporting the EFCC in the fight against corruption, so as to overpower the voices of those seeking to vitiate the efforts of the Commission.
We want to thank the leadership and the entire Ariwa House group for this well-deserved honor. And I'd like to also reiterate the fact that without support like this, the achievement the chairman and the entire team have made wouldn't have been possible. Nobody can do this work alone. We need also the support of the civil society, people of reform-minded people like you, who are also ready to stand up for this fight.
Amina Kawa, reporting for the Eagle.
According to Wikipedia, an advance fee scam is a form of fraud and one of the most common types of confidence tricks. The scam typically involves promising the victim a significant share of a large sum of money in return for a small upfront payment, which the fraudster requires in order to obtain the large sum. If a victim makes the payment, the fraudster either invents a series of further fees for the victim or simply disappears. The Federal Bureau of Investigation (FBI) states that an advance fee scheme occurs when the victim pays money to someone in anticipation of receiving something of greater value, such as a loan, contract, investment, or gift, and then receive little or nothing in return. There are many variations of this type of scam, including the 419 scam, also known as the Nigerian Prince scam, the Spanish prisoner scam, the black money scam, FIFO's fraud, and the Detroit Buffalo scam. The scam has been used with fax and traditional mail and is now prevalent in online communications like emails. While Nigeria is most often the nation referred to in these scams, they originate in other nations as well. In 2006, 61% of internet criminals were traced to locations in the United States, while 16% were traced to the United Kingdom and 6% to Nigeria. Other nations known to have a high incidence of advance fee fraud include Ivory Coast, Togo, South Africa, the Netherlands, Spain, Poland, Jamaica. The number 419 refers to the section of the Nigerian Criminal Code dealing with fraud, the charges and penalties for offenders. Ilyas Haruna Bala examines the trend.
The incidences of advance fee fraudsters, also known as 419 in Nigeria, before the advent of the EFCC, was such a sorry situation as many Nigerians and even foreigners with genuine business proposals ended up falling victims of fraud, with some not only losing investment but also their lives. The fraudsters employ different tactics to trick their victims. This type of fraud describes cases in which criminal fraudster convince a victim to partake in a business which they mostly present as genuine, but which is not. There are several types of advance fee fraud. They include career opportunity scams, clairvoyance or psychic scams, check over payment fraud, dating or romance scams, fraud recovery fraud and identity theft. Others are inheritance fraud, loan scams, lottery and sweepstakes scams. Whatever form it takes, it usually begins with the fraudster presenting a profit or reward-gaining venture to the victim. The aim of every proposal from a fraudster is to strip the victim of his possessions either in monetary form or in property form. Clairvoyant or psychic scam is one form of advance fee fraud known as juju scam in the Nigerian parlance. The apparently psychic or clairvoyant fraudster approach their victims by email, post, telephone call, or even face-to-face contact. When total strangers approach you with stories that they have seen something wonderful or terrible about your future, you may not need any other tale that you are being lined up to be pleased. They may claim to be able to give you winning lottery numbers or offer to remove a curse or a spell. The tales deployed as baits for victims are many. Some claim to possess powers that can heal or provide remedy to certain ailments. They may also tell you that you are in some kind of trouble, but a solution is within reach. They could demand a fee to remove a curse or a spell. Some even go as far as telling you they can produce currency notes or that they have some marked notes somewhere and they need money to buy chemicals to wash it. A demo operation is carried out in which the Mogun, as they call their victim, is taken through the motion of a paper being washed to become a hard currency, often the United States dollar. The process usually ends with the victim being told to help source for money to purchase the expensive chemical for a cut of the deal. This form of scam is common in Nigeria, with many victims losing life investments to fraudsters. The Economic and Financial Crimes Commission (EFCC) waged into the war against this genre of fraud in 2005 after the commission unraveled a huge incident of fraud in which a Brazilian bank was defrauded of over $200,000 by a fraud syndicate led by Emmanuel Onwude. The commission arrested the syndicate and recovered the money, which was restituted to the victim, the Brazilian bank. Not relenting in its effort to rid the country of activities of fraudsters, operatives of the commission have continued to arrest notorious fraudster syndicate who had defrauded a number of innocent victims of money and other valuables. Friday Evelo, who was the head of AFF, has this to say.
The conceptualization of the EFCC can be traced to the menace of the advance fee fraud, and that is why one of the reasons why the EFCC was actually born, and we have achieved a lot of successes. There's still a lot of room for improvement, and we've come a long way. If we have to place our record from inception to date, we'll be talking over 5,000 convictions from the advance fee fraud alone.
How can one avoid being a victim of AFF?
So the circumspective one, you just have to ask yourself some basic questions. You don't need a rocket science you don't need to be taught in the classroom that these are the lessons, these are the way to avoid this, but you just have to ask yourself some basic questions. Why am I the person that this fellow is calling that, oh, this kind of investment is in town? There's an inheritance that I need to inherit from one person or the other. Why must it be me? What I always tell the victims that come around that we assist here, I tell them that if it's too good, then there's a red flag. If the interest, if the amount, if the returns on investment is too high, there's a red flag. You don't just it's not something like you do an impulse kind of reaction or no. You need to ask yourself, when you see some of these phishing mail come to you or some of these unsolicited messages come to you, you don't just start giving your personal details. No. You just have to sit down and ask yourself some basic questions. Why am I the one this person sending this person to? And most of these informations are given by friends or close associates to the guys, that's the scammers. So they have a background, they have done a kind of background check on you. So they can give you, maybe if you have a nickname when you were growing up, they can call you by that nickname. That will take you off balance, say that, oh, this person might have some inkling about me.
What can be done if one becomes a victim?
You need to discuss with a professional. You need to, if you are in any of our cities where we have any of our office, you need to reach out to any EFCC officer. If they can't attend to you, they will bring it to us. And in coming to us, we'll be able to ask you one or two questions and advise proper solutions on how to go about it. We can even still put you on how to relay with these scammers so as to see how we can effect their arrest.
Adejare Kembi is a legal practitioner. He speaks about the trend of advance fee fraud and the legal perspective to spiritualism.
The law has made provisions. First and foremost, let me say that if we make a false presentation or representation, that is what we call obtaining under false pretenses. So it is an avenue, but it is criminal. However, the law makes provision under what we call money held and received. It is applicable in contract cases. It is also applicable in criminal instances where you have made a promise to me upon which I have changed my position and money had passed. Where that promise is not kept, I have the right to sue you in civil causes to recover that money.
Some people say the law does not recognize voodoo or juju. Is it the same with you?
We are wrong in saying that the law does not recognize juju. The criminal code actually makes provisions for such a circumstance. So the law recognizes juju. It does. However, where the juju is used for criminal purposes, the law again makes provision either for the suspect to be tried. That is when we talk about going through ordeal. The law makes provision for trial by ordeal and so on, which is a format where even a man who believes in juju says, for instance, I have caught a witch, right, and puts the poor girl or boy through such a serious situation that the law does not expect. That juju man is liable for trial under the trial by ordeal provisions of the criminal code. So we actually have provisions that have adequately provided for such. And don't forget, that criminal code is over 100 years old. So if you realize that 100 years ago, we have made provisions for such, and it is still valid now, how can we say that we did not recognize juju or we did not make provisions for such a situation? We have.
How can evidence be established in case involving spiritual fraud?
Simple. No man will lay emphasis on spiritualism as a means of deceit without having something to show for it. Either a shrine, a concocted place where something is said to go on. Those are the evidences that you need to prove to show that, look, this man has shown me this as a basis upon which I parted with money, I parted with property, right? However, even the Evidence Act had even made it a little bit simpler now by virtue of the recent amendment that was made. All you need is a picture or a recording of such and a certificate from the hand of the person who did the recording. So you are no longer required to carry the shrine to the court. Because, in fact, sometimes, you know, Nigerians, for what we are, even if the judge says the shrine, the judge might run.
So, do you think Nigerians have tendencies to be spiritual individuals?
We do. We do. From the presidency to the laborer, all of us tend to be spiritual in one way or the other. And that spirituality marks our action, whether positively or negatively.
This 419 trend has dented the image of Nigeria, as Nigerians traveling abroad are always faced with humiliation of excessive search and at times looked down upon. Just recently, a report released by the U.S. Department of Justice indicted about 70 Nigerians accused of participating in a massive conspiracy to steal millions of dollars through a variety of fraud schemes and launder the funds through a Los Angeles-based money laundering network as uncovered by the FBI. The Commission has reiterated its stance and commitment towards the eradication of corruption and 419, which is now denting the image of Nigeria. Section 2 of the Advanced Free Fraud and Other Fraud-Related Offences Act 2006 gives power to the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission (EFCC) to arrest, investigate, and prosecute advanced free fraud offenders. The Act stated that a person who, with intent to defraud, represent himself as possessing the power or as capable of doubling or otherwise increasing any sum of money through scientific or any other medium of innovation of any juju or other invisible entity or of anything whatsoever commits an offense and is liable on conviction to imprisonment for a term of not more than 15 years and not less than 5 years without the option of a fine. Ilyasu Haruna Bala, reporting for the Eagle.
And that brings us to the end of this week's edition of The Eagle. We thank you for watching. Please visit our website at efccnigeria.org and send your petitions to info@efccnigeria.org. You can also follow us on all our social media platforms at Official EFCC on Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. I am Aisha Muhammad. As usual, I leave you with these parting words from Martin Luther King, which says, "An individual has not started living until he can rise above the narrow confines of his individualistic concerns to broader concerns of all humanity." Let's join hands with the EFCC to see corruption is brought to its barest minimum. Play your part, say no to corruption, and do the right thing always. From all of us, it's goodbye and God bless Nigeria. Stay safe.